Thank you to everyone that is tuned in and watching the first virtual Strength Within Me panel discussion presented by Wharf Theatre. I am your host, Azaria Samuels, and I am pleased to have on this call with me some of the most amazing, dynamic teachers, artists, creators across our country. Let's take this time now to meet my panelists.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Cidel. I'm a teacher from Miami, Florida. I'm also an actress. I'm a director, singer, and lover of life.
I am Mario Roberts, a son, an actor, performer, originally from Miami, Florida, currently living in Valdosta, Georgia. Um, yeah.
Hey y'all, I'm Jeffery Glenn from Miami, Florida. I'm based out of Los Angeles, Low. I am a makeup artist and a costumer.
Hey everybody, I am Kierra. I'm from Miami, Florida. I am a marketing professional and I own my own marketing firm, Lotus Web Solutions, and I'm the host of Lotus TV on YouTube.
Hey y'all, hi, I'm Jabari. Originally from Miami, Florida, currently based in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a director, editor, cinematographer, and of course, I'm a son, a boyfriend, and I'm an artist.
Hi, I'm Mimi Davila. I'm an actress, a comedian, and a writer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Brown. I am from New Haven, Connecticut. I am an actress, a writer, an educator, and life's best student.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Coca Brown, comedian, actress, businesswoman, mama. You may know me from Tyler Perry's The Single Moms Club, for better or worse, or Fox's 911, and the new show on Netflix, Never Have I Ever.
COVID-19 is real and it has touched and affected so many lives around us. Some of us are home, isolated, and alone. Some of us have loved ones that are no longer with us. Some of us are frontline heroes in our communities and for our communities. And I'm here to tell you today that there is strength. There is strength in our communities. And honestly, I think there are some folks that can now say that they have found a new strength through all of this. So I open the floor to my panelists. Now, question number one. Let's see. How are you staying active creatively?
I know for me, staying active creatively, just really trying to do as much research as I can. Like I've never had the time. I think now what this has gifted me with is time to not just learn my craft more, but research and see what's out there, look at content, replays, watch plays, and just be inspired by whatever, other work. So that's really what I've been doing, just really kind of creatively resting, researching, and then taking the action to really try to learn other things. Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, yeah, resting for sure. Out in LA, it's a little crazy going from set to set, but I never really have time to actually sit my body down. So resting for sure. Creatively, I have been not necessarily learning new skills, but brushing up on some old skills. Because I feel like after this is all said and done, we don't know what opportunities are going to come at us. So I'm just being ready.
I really enjoyed the time that I've had because living in LA and auditioning all the time and feeling like I didn't realize how much the pressures of the industry weighed on me. And so now that that's not an option right now, I realize I've always been someone who creates my own content as well. But it's really given me a chance to realize how much that pressure affects me and the tranquility that I have within myself is something that I'd like to carry on even when this is over and everything goes back to normal day life. So I've gotten to really feel that in a way that I haven't been before.
For me, I went back to basics. I've been coloring And that's been really great for me. I've also been scrapbooking. I also participated in this quick quarantine play festival that allows playwrights only 24 hours to write monologues about COVID, and actors 24 hours to learn those monologues and record them and post them on YouTube. So that's given me that drive to like really get my memorization down and learn new techniques to memorize and connect to my characters at a shorter time frame. And I've also enrolled myself in an acting class. So this time has really given me a lot of inspiration to really reconnect to myself that I didn't think that I was disconnected, but now I know.
Make sure you give us that information before you get off. That's crazy information.
Yeah, well.
As for me, staying creatively active, well, one, like many mentioned before, not necessarily learning new techniques, but honing in on those techniques that you already have, and building upon, really taking this time that we all have, which is time, and really like Miss Cidel said, just reading more, doing more research, Another thing that I have been doing to keep active, these virtual classes that they're offering, everyone's doing like a dance class here and there. Everyone is doing like some virtual something, so it's tons of things to do to keep active. And sorry, Bob, I didn't really realize how tough it can be learning something virtually versus in class, and so that's just another thing that I guess a tool that I've been honing in on, learning different ways to adapt in terms of, things that are being offered. Oh, and definitely reading more, taking the time out to read plays that I usually wouldn't read, simply because I just have time, and so it definitely doing things that I guess the time wouldn't allow me to do before, now.
So for me, I've been able to also, like everyone has mentioned, get rest. I learned during this time that time really is the true currency. And I've taken this time to really kind of hone in on what's important for me. So as a mom of two, I've really been able to stay active creatively. I've redesigned my children's room. I've taken a lot of time to really sit back and replan my whole business. And it's taught me that planning is really the key to success. So I've taken this time to really go through all of my spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet person. Coming up with new content. I've been able to kind of come up with a year's worth of content for my YouTube channel, just sitting here and just kind of going through ideas. I've really been organizing my thoughts. So I would say, as someone with a very fast mind, I've been able to kind of organize my thoughts. And that is something I didn't have the chance to do because I am a grad school student, a mom, an entrepreneur, and I do work a full-time job.
Yes.
Ooh.
You busy, baby.
Too busy. Okay, I had to rest. This time has helped me rest. I rest.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Cool. All right, so for me, my high school theater teacher told me once that everything you need. It's like I think it's a quote from a pastor like V.T. Curry or something like that. He once said that everything you need is in the house. She once said everything you need is in the house, and for me, I realized how true that is, because I have a lot of, as far as filming, filming different projects goes for myself, I have a lot of equipment, and sometimes I think I don't have anything, but I have a lot. So I've been using this time to organize that equipment, but also plan different shoots that I want to do for myself after this entire thing. There's a film idea I had back when I was in middle school as a theater student. And I never did anything with the idea. But I made small little plans here and there before the quarantine and everything. But now, during this time, I've really been making a lot of headway in regards to the script and everything. I've been doing research on things that I can brush up on as well, because I liken myself to be a decent director. I'm okay. There's a lot I have to learn. There's a lot I want to learn. But as far as editing goes, it's taken me 10 years to say this, but to comfortably say it, but I'm a good editor. You know, I've known I was good before, but I would be
He
uncomfortable
really
to say
is,
it.
guys. He really is.
But it
really
was
is.
uncomfortable to say it. You know what I mean? Like to say that you're good at something, because I'm used to internally shaming myself for because I realized that a lot of times we shame other people for things that we shame ourselves for. So I would shame myself a lot of times for being arrogant or something like that. And it's like, it's okay to say you're good. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's okay to say you're not good at something and recognize where you want to grow. And because I know, like I've known since I was 5 years old, I want to be in the arts. I've literally never wanted to do anything else. And it's funny because I freelance full time, and I didn't realize it, but at 5 years old, I said I wanted to be a freelancer when I said I want to be an artist. You know, and I literally didn't realize that. And it's people like the artists that I grew up around in middle school, high school, and in college, from teachers to classmates that really showed me that I can do this. And there are times, especially during this quarantine, where I've been a little insecure or uncomfortable with financially with what's going to happen next. But I had to remind myself a lot of times that I've wanted to do this since I was 5. I turned 30 this year, so I'm like, you know, it's 25 years of passion. This isn't like, you know, overnight thing. So I had to remind myself that, you know, other artists that have literally raised me, like Miss Cidel here, you know, taught me that.
Oh my God. Coming into this, I was already, you know, working on my Cocoa Brown collection, which is a CBD oil-infused body scrub, body cream, hand sanitizers, you know, things like that. And it just really took off once this happened because I, you know, really got into promoting it. And then I stumbled on two things that I love, baking and CBD. And so I started a edible business that I've been baking my tail off, cookies, brownies, pound cakes, cornbread, you name it, I'm baking it. And Coca's Cravables took off during this, and it has just been insane. So yeah, so that's how I'm staying busy in between being mama and trying to watch an occasional Peppa Pig with my son.
Now, my next question is, have you learned new techniques to perfect your craft? And what would you recommend to other creatives and artists during this time?
As far as new techniques, just the whole virtual life that we live now it's new for everybody. I mean, we all took, you know, a class here or there or had some sort of, you know, we FaceTime all the time and all that, but now to actually do work all the time through Zoom and through all these other platforms has been, you know, you just had to do things differently. And so that's a day by day, I think, thing that I'm learning, just to try to get that same passion and creativity, you know, through a virtual means than not touching and you know, hugging someone. So that's been new for me, just to try to navigate this virtual world and still try to reach others with the same passion and fervor as, you know, before. I would just recommend to, number one, not take yourself too seriously, honestly. I think we're all, you know, and this is something that we could have never, ever thought in a million years that would happen. I was just telling my husband the other day, I was like, this is crazy. Like,
Yes.
we can't go outside. No, but, you know, just to not take things too seriously and try your best to love those around you and pay attention, you know, to your artistry in a way that you haven't been able to before. That's really my main thing, is to pay attention. And also, you know what I've done? Look back at certain things that I've done before to try to see how I could have done it better. Like I'm in the process of getting ready to go back through David Makes Man and look through different scenes that I've done, or Moonlight, or, you know, just kind of look through some of the work, some of the directing, some of the shows that I've done, and see, oh, I could have done this better. I shouldn't have done that, you know, to reevaluate.
Well, for me, definitely brushing up more things, learning these new resources that we got going on here, which is all this technology for sure. They're TikToking it up, as some of y'all have seen.
And it's been hilarious.
And even with that, it has allowed me to go back to, because initially I'm a performer. So it has allowed me to go back and to brush up on all of that because it all works together in the machine. No matter what you're doing, theater. And to go back to what you were saying, Ms. Cidel, about not taking yourself serious, you can't. That was one thing that I did. So, well, I do it all the time because I want everything to be right and perfect. And you can't stress yourself out about it because life happens, as you can see. It doesn't matter how much you want to stick to this and stick to that. You got to roll with it sometimes. And I was actually just doing this one project, and I was getting so stressed because I wanted it to go my way or, go how I envisioned it. And one of the actors, Paula J. Parker, she was like, what's wrong with you? If you're not having fun,
I love her.
You need to be having
I love
fun.
her.
And I had to stop and really think about that. Like, I cannot have a stick up my butt the whole time. I need to just let go and let loose and have fun with it. Because most of the times, that is where the greatest stuff come out. When you just let go. Now, one thing that I will say that artists should be doing is a lot of research. In this day and age, especially with the younger generation, people want that instant gratification. People want to just do this and that without knowing where it comes from. And you can't build upon something where you don't know where it came from in the first place. So that is one thing for me, like research. Now I have time to look at old stuff.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that's where they got this from. That's where, okay, I see where that came in.
Yeah, I'm just going to ride off of what you were saying about having everything be perfect. I've just been thinking a lot about all the new opportunities, less than thinking about what is going to be taken away. I've been thinking about what new opportunities are going to come and like all of the windows that are opening. So I bought a lens for my iPhone, a moment lens, because I want to figure out how within this time to get together with people that have also been quarantining and try to put out really good high quality content, because more than ever people want to watch stuff, people want to escape, and people want to laugh more than ever now. So just think about people's needs and how to create good content during this time that's safe, within reason. But then also on the flip side of that, people are on their phones a lot more now. And I always think about like the part of your brain that is getting so trained to want that instant gratification, especially with TikTok and 30-second Instagram videos. And for me, that gets exhausting sometimes. And this time has really given me an opportunity to, it's going to sound so dumb. No, and I love watching movies all the time. I need great inspirational things to fuel me. Otherwise I start feeling depressed. But something about this time has really given me clarity on what are you feeding your brain. If you're only watching TikTok for hours and hours, like I have a little brother and sister and that's what they do.
Your brain gonna turn into TikTok.
Yeah, and
pretty much.
I've really been realizing the importance of that long term. If you're writing something, if you're, taking my brain off of the 5-second, 10-second instant gratification and refocusing to like the long term, because I had a really popular, I still have a popular YouTube channel, but we stopped making videos on it like a year or two ago because we really wanted to focus on developing those characters into something longer, feature film. We've been writing feature film and TV, and it really does require a different part of your brain to be able to do that. I don't know, I can't do both at the same time. So this time is really about focusing, discipline in the long, hard work. Always, it's always that way, but something about there's not as many distractions. And it does get easy to get caught up on social media. And while it's necessary, but you kind of have to balance that. Even if you're not someone who watches content, you really have to reflect on, I can't just do this all the time because my brain's going to turn to mush. And then it's kind of like a loss of humanity, I think, as well. That's my opinion.
So this is not something that I just learned. It's something I knew prior, but now I have more time to really develop this skill. Was one, building and making websites. I just learned that I actually am pretty good at it. Jabari, I'm supposed to be sending you that shortly. But that is something that I've been working on. And also, I went from literally performing in shows every day to now this new norm of not doing anything. So is one thing for sure is still connecting myself to the passion that I have for performing. So again, it's just like taking classes. Like I just took this new salsa class. Never salsa in my life. But it was something, you know, I always wanted to try, just never had the time to do. So that's one thing that I've kind of dabbled in. Salsa is more difficult than you think. But it's definitely fun, I will say. So I guess it's just keeping that passion that I have lit, and finding different ways to keep it lit in these new times, you know. And one thing for sure I would say to artists during the times like this is remembering why, you know, whatever it is your passion, you know what I'm saying? So because at times like this, you have so much leisure time for your mind to go elsewhere. You know, I guess it's just remembering, hey, really, really back on in, okay? You know, because this too will pass, you know, and it won't last forever. But until then, just remember why it is your passion, you know?
Great. For me, it's been practice makes perfect. Like I have a really deep love for acting, and I didn't realize until I had to slow down that I wasn't fully committed to the craft. So just doing it every day, whatever it is, I don't have to read a whole script every day, but doing a little something. Maybe it's something vocal warm-ups. Maybe it's diving deeper into a new character, whatever it is, like keep that going. It's just like basketball players. They're always at practice. So why am I not on the court? You know what I'm saying? So, and I've also started doing meditation and yoga, which, you know, people talk about it all the time. I'm like, I can't do all those poses. But when it came to meditation, it really helped me silence the brain and like really hone in and be present in that moment. And as an actor, that's what you need to do. You need to be present in every single moment as it goes, because that's where the real comes from. Like, you know, you up there, you know the ending of the play. However, you in scene one and you're not supposed to know what happens at the end. You supposed to be present to that moment. You know what I'm saying? So that's really helped me a lot. And my advice to, you know, creatives during this time, I would say, listen to your body. Like really listen to your body. There's certain days where I'm at odds in my mind, like, ooh, I should be up and creative right now. And there's other days like, girl, you know, you just want to watch a movie, eat some popcorn. Like, I don't know why you playing. And you know what I'm saying? But then also,
and that's okay. That's okay. That's what, you
know,
it's okay.
Exactly. Knowing that you want to hang out and just eat some popcorn, that's good. Cool. You don't do that today, sis. You're fine. And if you want to do it again the next day, that's great. Just also clock your self-talk. That's something I've actually been doing a lot, because now you're by yourself. I'm a Gemini. Me and my girl in my head, we are best friends. We talk.
Them Geminis. Oh.
We talk all the time, but what I'm saying is there's certain times where she's not really being my friend, and I need to catch her on that. I'd be like, hey, don't be talking to me like that. I'm gonna eat my popcorn. I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So just, I would say, live in gratitude, breathe, and be kind to yourself as much as possible, and really clock those negative thoughts.
So for me, a new technique I've actually picked up during this time is something called the top 3. And basically what the top 3 is, every day I plan to do 3 productive things for my business every day. And it doesn't have to be something major. It doesn't have to be something small, but each day is 3 big things, whether it's write a blog post. I mentioned it before, I have a content calendar. So it's like, no, write a blog post for a day, write a YouTube script, get something done, cross it off your list. I'm a list person. So doing things like that makes me feel accomplished. And another technique I've really been working on is brushing up on my storytelling. I had to kind of revisit my theater training and remember, as a marketer, the art of marketing is the art of storytelling. And I'm just basically telling someone else's story on different platforms and figuring out, what do the people who I'm telling this to want to hear? How can it get to them? So I've been really brushing up on my storytelling tremendously. And I would actually recommend a book to everybody, just to piggyback off of Mimi when she said, giving people what they want to see, how you've been taking this time to figure that out. A great book is Top of Mind by John Hall. And it is a marketing book, but it also talks about ways that you can always be at the top of people's mind when it comes to your craft.
What's the title again?
I will share that. I will.
Top of Mind, and it's by John Hall. I'll put it in there. Some recommendations I would say for artists is, first, stay consistent. Whatever it is that you do, stay consistent. I'm learning the key to success is consistency. And just believing in yourself, know your worth, and add tax, honey. Period. And another recommendation I would say is definitely save for rainy days. Always. If you're an artist or an entrepreneur or something of that sort, save. I don't know who need to hear this, save. Okay. Another recommendation I would say is, if someone is on your mind, this time really taught me, reach out. You really never know why or what. I've had dreams about people that I haven't talked to in years, and I reached out, and for whatever reason, they felt that. And I felt it too. And I would say, reach out, because I don't want to be the dark person in this seminar, but we're in a season of death, it seems. And it's time to really speak to people when they're on your mind. Let people know you love them if you love them.
That's so good.
That would be my recommendation. Oh, and also, my old boss really told me this piece of advice, and it stuck with me for life, as a marketer. But this goes for creators too, because a marketer is a creator. People don't buy your what, they buy your why. So like Mario also mentioned, you have to remember your why in times like this. There is very discouraging as an artist or an entrepreneur when things aren't going as we planned. We may have had so much, 2020 is my year, this is my year, and then boom. So remember your why and let that drive what you do. So that's my recommendation.
So I was saying was that one thing I've done to stay creative is I was kind of prefacing it first, was saying, like, since about last summer, I've been kind of obsessed with the idea of directing commercials. So I've done a lot of research on commercials. I literally watch nothing but shoots on product commercials, and of course, commercials with actors and speaking lines and everything. But during this quarantine and everything, what I've decided to do was try to do commercials that allow me to be mindful of social distancing and things of that nature. So I've been working on storyboarding and test shots for a Douce Spec commercial, because specifically brands like Douce and a small whiskey brand out of Tennessee called Uncle Nearest, because for me, my why personally with directing commercials is I want to show people that look like me in commercials without it being a magical thing, without it being some special thing. Sometimes people just want to just exist. You know what I mean? And I want it's a tool that I learned years ago, but I've been reminded of it, and it's to accept critique when it's real, when it's genuine critique versus constructive criticism rather. Either you can. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it. You can at least, take it in and see, where it's coming from. And if you agree with it, or if it makes sense, work with it. If you don't, then, hey, go from there. And sometimes as artists, we have to step away from what it is we love just for a second, you know what I mean? To like kind of see things on the macro. And sometimes you can't even just look at it on the macro or micro level. You have to literally move away from it completely. And that's what I did. And then I came back at it, and I had an entire. I saw things in the edit, and I literally helped I co-directed this project, in And like the direction that we went in was initially something that I pitched to my co-director and everything, but there were still things I couldn't see for the edit. And when my friend gave me that, said that to me, it's like he put a new battery in me. And I went back into that edit, and like everything, I saw things differently. I saw the entire edit anew in a way that I did not see it before.
Thank you so much, Jabari. Yes.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I had to go back to grassroots when I first started doing stand-up, and I was promoting myself, and, I was sending out mailers and book me, inquiries.
Yes.
So I'm back to that now. But luckily, because of social media, I don't have to mail anything out. I can just go on my IG or Facebook Live and promote. I mean, I would say 98% of my business comes from social media.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Our last question is, what is strength to you? How do you maintain strength during this quarantine, and as an artist and creators in your community?
I, for one, over the years of not taking care of self, like honestly, going, you're a mother, you're, of course, I'm a wife, a teacher, a director, all of these things, all of these hats that you put on, and then you don't take care of yourself. Strength comes from self-care, period. If you do not take care of yourself, you won't find the strength to do anything. And that is what I have learned. Literally from, going into the hospital, blood pressure, all kind of crazy, taking, being so serious about the show or the whatever project I'm working on, and just forgetting, okay, breathe, right? Self-care, you can't do everything. Some things you got to delegate, and it's okay to delegate. I'm kind of, that person who likes to have control, but I'm passive aggressive about it. So I don't really say that I like to have control, but I want to have control. You understand? So no, really, honestly, it's just about learning who you are. So that I know that my greatest strength comes from taking care of myself, and then I can take care of the others, other people, my students or my husband and my children, so.
Yes.
Okay, well, one, I know you're a Scorpio, yeah.
I am.
Yeah, we do like to be in control all the
Yes.
time, but we're also very giving. So it's like we don't want to make it seem like we want it how we want it, but we really want it how we
Really
want
want it. Yes.
But
True.
I agree. Truth is being able to say no. Ain't nothing wrong with saying no to people. I've been learning that. Like,
Woo.
I love to hop on every single project, but sometimes you just gotta say no. You just have to, because you do gotta take care of yourself. Like last year, my body told me, like, you need to sit down. Like, you need to have a seat. So,
Yes.
there's strength in saying no sometimes and taking care of yourself versus trying to please, everyone or be a part of everything. Honestly, even if you say no to something, if it's like something that you really should be a part of, it's going to come back to you regardless. Also, strength for me is like how you get through certain things. I'm gonna let y'all know something. It's a work project I just did. Like, I was so stressed because we shot a series in like 3 weeks, which is very stressful to shoot a whole 10 episodes. So I felt like I was holding up camera, and which I wasn't. I just was in my head about things. I took a moment. I went in the bathroom. I just shed a little thug tear, 2 or 3 or 4 for a second. And I said, it ain't nothing wrong with that. I just had to like let that out together 2 minutes and come back and get the work done. I find that was probably the greatest strength because sometimes we put on the mask all the time. We wear a mask all the time. But it's like, how do you really feel about things inside? and handle how you feel about it inside first before you exude all this other stuff. So,
you.
Strength to me is being able to take a very honest look at yourself and do what it is that that little voice inside of you is telling you to do. And a lot of times it's not what you want to hear. And a lot of times that requires putting your ego aside when it comes to criticisms or when it comes to something you're scared of doing. And that includes risk. I think that risk is strength. If there is something that you're holding on so tightly, usually means you got to let it go a little bit. It doesn't mean that it's going to disappear. Yeah. Or that's not for you. It just means that, you know, reevaluate your relationship to things, whether that be a project or a person or anything. But a lot of times, unfortunately, it happens with the things we love most, like what Jabari was saying. Like a lot of times we hold on so tight to the things that we love most. And when you let it breathe and let it go, and I'm not talking like, I'm saying this to myself too. I mean, I go through this process all the time. But like being able to have ego deaths, like the more ego deaths you can have, the more things you can do that scare the living life out of you. I don't know if I can curse. The better. I'm all for that, you know, and it doesn't have to be like jumping off a parachute, but like doing things that scare you. I think that that's strength, and I think that's the best way to grow.
Yes.
Mimi, what was that phrase you used? Ego deaths?
Ego deaths, yes.
What, can you tell me what that is?
Yes. It's I feel like we, you know, like for example, when you break up with someone and that pain that you feel, you're heartbroken, I consider that to be a form of an ego death. Because for so long you associated yourself with that person, or an ego death can be like when you start realizing, wow, I'm not the most important thing in the world. You know what I mean? But with that, it's uncomfortable and it's scary. For some reason, whenever I go to high altitudes, like I was in Colorado recently, I know high altitudes mess with me, but it also does give me that experience of like feeling very small, but in a good way, and it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And I think it's, especially if you're an artist or you're someone who communicates to the world, being brave enough to face those kinds of things and keep moving through them.
Yeah, so to piggy off that last piece that you said, you know, finding the strength within those times where we are most feared and finding a way to work past that. I know for me, you know, I keep that the mantra, you know, bad things doesn't last forever. Yeah, it's raining now, but the sun will shine eventually. And so I guess it's just remembering that this too, whatever it is that you are challenged with, will eventually pass, you know, and being okay with I guess it's like those emotions that comes with, you know, being in those moments of like now change, or being in those moments of uncertainty, not knowing what's the next move is going to be. It's okay having those emotions of feeling, you know, unsure, you scared, you don't know, you know, those moments I think is help us redefine how strong we are, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And knowing that it's okay, you know,
Yeah.
not giving up, you know. And so
For me, I would say strength is knowing that your thoughts have power, and knowing that whatever you put out into the universe, whatever you say, whatever you think, that it will come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I say you have those negative thoughts. It's really good to clock them and change it and shift it. And it doesn't have to be like one of my favorite quotes. I saw it on Instagram somewhere. Don't know who said it, but it was, instead of saying I'm stressed out, you should say I'm under divine pressure because I'm birthing something great. That's it. All you're doing is working on something great. That's it. You're not stressed out. You under divine pressure because something's coming out of this. And
diamonds are made under pressure.
Yep. And that's what strength is to me. So I'm gonna keep it short. That's it.
Thank you.
Strength for me has been setting boundaries and honoring my boundaries. A lot of times I've realized I walk through life kind of expecting other people to respect boundaries that I wasn't even respecting for myself. So one thing, strength has really been honoring myself and being open to, okay, I like that yesterday, today I don't like it, and I'm not going to like it right now. So it has been being very present with myself, checking in with myself, and really just putting myself at the center of everything instead of being a victim to different things coming in life. So it's just, for me, strength has really just been being real with myself, facing myself, and making sure that the space that I allow myself in is divine for me, and, you know, filtering out what is for and what is not for me, and not having any attachment to anything other than my purpose, really.
Strength is really, I would say, within like the lessons that I've already been taught. Because I going back to what I said earlier, like having everything in the house already, I feel like I've been given a lot of tools and lessons and skills. And we talk about being creatives and everything. The first time I ever understood what it was to love myself was seeing somebody else do it. And that's the main thing, that lesson that I was taught back in like middle school, high school, is something that I've been working on or like been applying a lot more, especially during this whole time. And self love for me, or self love, self care, a lot of times for me is just taking a drive. You know, giving myself time to be by myself. That's it.
Guarding my peace of mind with everything in me. I just don't I try to let a lot of the bull crap get to me. I limit myself to how much news and stuff I take in, because I am an empath, which means that I feel what others feel. And if I allow people to pour that into me, I take it on as well. And I realized that many years I was doing that, and it was just wearing me down. It was like my other people's battles became my battles. And I didn't have room to fight my own. So strength to me is knowing your limits, setting up boundaries, not feeling guilty for saying no, and protecting your peace at all costs.
Yes. That part you just said about not being afraid to say no. A lot of us have a difficult time with that. Even myself sometimes, you know, but it's so real. It's so real. And then and once you find that groundbreaker to be able to do that, it changes your life. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and
would you
I
say
it with a smile, but I'm like, no, I can't help you.
Yes.
Because I was not leaving anything left for me or my child at one point, because I was so busy trying to be Captain Save everybody else. And it took me, you know, becoming sick and becoming weak and, you know, breaking down and everything for me to realize, you know, I can't save everybody. I'm only responsible for 2 people on this earth, myself and my child.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, you know, it was a big and hard pill to swallow, but I am so grateful I came to that revelation, because now I know when to say no. I know when to cut off. I know when to set up boundaries to say, I'm good on that. You know, I had to do that with my own business. When Cocoa Craveables first started, I was so excited that, you know, I was baking till 4 a.m, sometimes 6 days a week.
Wow.
You know, but then I found myself, you know, breaking down. My resistance was down. I wasn't feeling great. I wasn't sleeping well. And I had to stop and say, hold up. I'm loving this. I'm so grateful that you guys are supporting me. But check it. I'm only filling orders on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Thursday through Sunday belongs to me.
Yes.
Yes. And people have respected it. I mean, they really have. They understand that if they put an order in on a Thursday or Friday, Saturday or Sunday, it's not going to get filled till Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And you'll have it within 2 days or 3 days most. But I had to realize that I was so excited, but I was breaking myself down. And, you know, I can't be going out to no post office, no FedEx, and my resistance down. I'm just asking for COVID to get to the fast in my house. So no.
Yeah.
I had to set up a boundary of like, I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me, but orders will only be filled on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
Yes, that is so real. And I thank you for sharing that, because we have to, and you're a mom first. First and foremost, you are a mother. And so, tapping into
Phoenix! Come downstairs and get on the Zoom call with your teacher now. Thank you. I'm still mama.
Thank you all so much for coming together as one. Thank you. Final thoughts, panelists, affirmation, or summary of thought?
I'm going to say that we all may be alone, but one thing for sure, we are all alone together. And just remember why your passion is your passion. You know what I'm saying? Keep that light burning, keep that fire burning, whatever it is, and dig deep. You find yourself, in your mental refocus. We all need a break, and so this time really use it to your benefit,
I would say that we always want what we have until we have it, or we want what we, did I say that right? No, we want what we don't have until we have.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
So we want what we don't have until we have. Correct. So my thing is just to kind of enjoy the moment. Enjoy where you are when you are. And then when the next moment comes, enjoy that moment. Because I distinctly remember a couple months ago, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I just need a break. Well, you got one. You have a break. You got one. What you gonna do with it? So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so used to working and 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. No, but it's just important to enjoy the moment.
Yes. I want to say that there's a lot of people back home right now. Maybe they have to go back to being with their family and they're not used to that. You kind of feel like you're a kid again because you're like, well, I'm a teenager again and I'm living with my parents. And I've talked to a lot of my friends and they're having difficulties with that. But especially for creatives, I would say find the inspiration in that. There's a lot of people that I know that are writers and that are from Miami. I'm from Miami. And they kind of overlook all the richness and where they're actually from and in their family life. And I'm like, that's your greatest material. I say in that situation and you're moping about it or you're finding it's really testing your patience, try to turn that into creative fuel, because I'm telling you, man, I really believe that your best creative material comes from where you're from and your family, and they're part of what made you. And yeah, turn it around.
I would say one thing I would say to everyone is stop waiting for the perfect moment and just start right now, make a plan and tweak it as you go. Nothing is going to begin as perfect as you like, and you won't know what you need to tweak until you start. So whatever it is that you want to start it.
Well, that's all the time that we have here today. Please comment and share below. And remember that you belong and you have strength. There's a new strength through all of this. Happy Mother's Day. Have a good day.